Hey everyone, this is Mr. Airsoft. In today's video, we will be looking at the King Arms CAA licensed M4A1 CQB. And I just want to start off by saying that this gun is an absolute beast. My brother has had this gun for 2.5 years, has never had a problem. The reason that I wanted to take it apart is because I wanted to see what the wear looked like on it after 2.5 years of usage. And it's been used pretty well as well of that, so this would be pretty interesting. To start off, I want to say that the upper receiver and lower receiver, for that matter, are pretty much all plastic polymer, so nothing much to say there. It's very light due to that. You might be wondering why the wiring is still in the upper receiver, and I will tell you that. The reason is because the way they did their wiring, I don't really like that they did this, but basically, also battery storage is awful in here, but the way they did it is the wire is trapped in this little slot right here. So if you pull the Tamaya, I'm like kind of cutting this insulation actually, but if you pull the Tamaya, it gets stuck on the slot there. If you pull it the other way, it'll get stuck at the contacts. So we're just going to leave it in here for now until he decides what he wants to do with this gun, whether he wants to install new wiring and new MOSFET, which I would recommend doing, especially if he decides to make this high-speed SSG build. But yeah, we're just leaving it like this for now. Moving on, I will say that definitely the heaviest thing on this gun is the stock. This probably weighs about 2 or 3 pounds maybe. I don't know, it's somewhere around in there. It's definitely really heavy though. It's chunky, especially for one of these kinds of stocks. To be honest, I don't really know what they're called. I can't think of what they're called off the top of my head, but it's got a rubber butt pad. You can actually remove this and pop this off. There you go, yeah. And you could rewire it, put a battery in here if you wanted to. I just thought that was kind of interesting. That's probably what we'll do because, like I said, the storage space in the handguard is awful. Yeah, moving on to the hop-up and barrel system. It's just a standard plastic hop-up, M4 hop-up, nothing much to say about that. Yeah, nothing much to say. I mean, you could upgrade it if you want to, but it gets the job done anyways. The barrel, it's just, standard King Arms. To be honest, I don't know what the material is. It's really light, doesn't really feel of the best quality. Could probably use a good polish, although I'd almost suggest getting a better barrel and polishing that. Bucking, all that stuff. Not really high quality anything, but gets the job done once again. Moving on to the motor. This actually, in my opinion, looks quite similar to an SHS, at least the high torque motor that I have, at least, coloring wise and all that. Once you see the two, you can definitely tell the differences, but they do kind of look similar, but their performances are definitely not. This is almost zero torque. It's very, 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 very easy to turn. It's got some wear on the can here. Not the can, sorry, the end belt. The pinion gear is stripped to heck. I can't really show you that. There you go. There is the pinion gear. It looks awful. I would just say this motor should not be used in anything anymore just because of its terrible torque and busted pinion gear. So we'll probably be replacing this with an SHS high torque. That one that I have is going to be used in one of my guns, so I'll have to get a different one. And the reason I think that the motor was stripped out like that was because just stock gun, nothing ever was done to it for 2.5 years. So my guess is that the pinion gear was just not aligned or shimmed right with the bevel gear. So you got the wear and tear with that, and for 2.5 years it just eats up the pinion gear, which we'll get to the bevel gear in a second. But I am very surprised with just the whole situation here. But moving on to the gearbox. We have, I don't really know exactly what material these bushings are, but you know, it's just, you know, standard bushings. A lot of grease in here, which you can expect with any, basically any stock airsoft gun. And multiple people have explained this, but I guess one of the a main reason that they do that is just to make up for any shimming mistakes, and they don't really want to take time to shim all their guns because, of course, that would be very time consuming. They did actually include quite a lot of shims on the gears, but I probably would recommend replacing them because I don't really like the look of them. Some of them are golden looking, some of them are like more brownish and black. I don't really know. They don't really seem like the best quality shims. I would just recommend replacing them with matrix shims because that's what I use and they're nice. The air seal on this gun was actually perfect. I was very pleased with that. I was very happy that it didn't, because all the other guns that I've worked on have had terrible air seal. So I was happy to see that this one had good air seal. Nevertheless, if we do high speed in here, it'll probably have different components like the piston being replaced anyway, so it might need to have an air seal redo. But it's still nice to see a 2.5-year gun have perfect air seal. Trigger contacts, we're actually doing all right, except for the shuttle. It has a little bit of a marking on here. I'll show that. So yeah, as you can see, there's kind of like a wear on that side. On the other side, there's not really any. On this side, there definitely is. I don't think any LiPos have ever used this. But yeah, for 2.5 years of use, you can kind of expect to have some trigger contacts start to get some wear on them. There are some suspicious-looking black shards in the gearbox. They're quite small, but it's kind of disconcerting. I don't know what they could have come from. It may have been the springs. Actually, no, I think about it. It could have been the paint inside the spring coming off. I was like, look in there now. I can kind of see some wear on the paint, so it could have just been that. We got of course, all the red accents of the King Arms. We got their nice, sturdy tappet plates that they got in here. Cycler plate. Cutoff lever is doing perfectly fine. It could probably be used in other areas. I forgot to mention that on the shuttle there is a bit of wear from the cutoff lever, but not too much. It's actually doing pretty good, in all honesty, when compared to other guns. Oh yeah, so moving on to the gears, they're just King Arms 18:1 standard ratio gears. The bevel gear, where the pinion gear was ripping apart the pinion gear, is actually doing really nicely. I was really surprised by that. There is some quite small rough patches on the teeth there, but not much. I would still recommend replacing them, especially for high speed, of course. But yeah, it's actually in really good condition. All these gears are in actually really nice shape. I was really happy with that as well. Although I've had my friends' King Arms gears have both stripped, so I can't vouch for King Arms gearboxes gears specifically. I just know that these ones in particular are doing really nicely. So they also included a sector delay chip, which I was really happy about, because then my brother can use this in a high-speed setup if he ever decides to do that. I know that some guns have them built onto the gears, but it's always nice to just see them come with. I thought it was kind of funny that it was here because stock guns by no means need sector delay chips. You really only need those for if you're going above 30 rounds per second, but maybe even 35. I don't really know the exact one, but yeah. Overall, this gun has held up pretty good. It's performed greatly for a long time. It's had, you know, respectable range for a stock gun, about 150, 200 feet. It's stayed around the 380 to 400 FPS range, so that is also really nice, especially since we play outdoors, so we don't need to have a CQB rifle. Yeah, it's worked really well, despite its bad alignment of the pinion gear with the bevel gear. It's worked really nicely, and it's had perfect air seal, kept that the whole time. It's been dropped in mud and water before, never cleaned. I only cleaned it once, and that was with silicone oil, and I saw recently other people, and especially the Airsoft tech, have made videos and talked about how silicone oil is not the best thing to use for cleaning inner barrels, so I will not be doing that anymore. I know I did that in my pistol video, and I'm sorry about that for doing that, but yeah, I won't be doing that anymore. I'll be using the isopropyl alcohol like the Airsoft tech uses, and that should yield better results. But yeah, so this gun has never been cleaned, even after being dropped in mud and water. It's worked awesome, all things considered. One thing I will mention, though, I thought was kind of odd. I don't know if all King Arms gearboxes are like this, but the wires were hot glued in this specific spot right here, which I guess makes sense, but I just haven't heard of any other gun manufacturers doing that. But I've never looked at any gearboxes, like King Arms gearboxes before, so you guys can let me know if that's sort of a normal thing. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you have had your experiences with King Arms, especially their lower end guns. I know this is kind of lower end, but this has worked really well. I think it's $150 on e-bike, and that's where my brother got it. Oh, and by the way, I want to let you guys know that my 550 video will not be coming out for a while now, sadly. The reason for that is because on my hop-up, I was cleaning the barrel the night before I was going to do the video, and I was cleaning their barrel so I could get a good chrono reading on it, and this little clip that connects to the barrel in there, this little guy, snapped, and it's a proprietary, well, it's not really proprietary. Thankfully I found one other replacement by JG on e-bike for the rifle, so I will be buying that, and I'll be putting the new clip in there. I'm really sad. I really wish that they had a better system of securing barrels in the hop-up. But yeah, so that clip broke, so it's not usable, not shootable, I should say, for a little while. It can still shoot fine, it's just, can't shoot BBs. So, once I get that, I don't know when I'll be getting that. I guess yeah, I don't know. You guys, I guess you can't expect one of those videos anytime soon, but once I get that, I'll do a video on that immediately, because I really want to tell you guys about how all that all worked. I thought it was kind of interesting. But yeah, so thanks for watching this video, I'll see you guys later.